This is a brass and resin duck, doorstop or just sculpture. He's actually very heavy. Let's see, almost 4 pounds by himself. And he's missing an eye. But if you just put it like this, it looks fine. I've had this guy for a very long time. And we sold it best offer, $30. Global shipping program. This is a very cool vintage Art Deco style stapler. It's kind of beat up, but it does look pretty cool. This sold on our new store for $40. Also global shipping program. This is a vintage U.S. Army field jacket shirt with patches. I have sold one of these before. I have 3 total, so I have 1 left. I had these up for $79, but I took an offer of $50 for this one. This is a pair of men's Florsheim mod zip-up boots. Pretty awesome. They have leather soles. I think I also had these up for $79, and I took an offer of $50. So that's funny. We were having a slow day, so we were just taking offers. And this sold to someone in the global shipping program. This is a fancy men's dress shirt with French cuffs. Very fancy. You can see the brand here. And it sold for $25. This is a vintage camo hat. It's kind of like a Robin Hood hat. It's made in the USA. And it sold in our new store for $30. This is a vintage Dundee orange marmalade crock. This one is not as old as I thought it was, but it is still old. We have one of these at our house that holds our toothbrushes, so I am always on the lookout for these because they're really cool looking. I have, I believe, 5 of these that I got at a yard sale for $1 each. And this one sold for $30 on our second store. This is just a regular old snap-on hat, cotton, nothing super special. And it sold for $30 on the new store. These are 2 more scrubs tops, sold to the same lady. I think she got the other one and liked it. And then she bought these. So they sold for $30 each. So that's $60, and she bought the other one a couple days ago for $30, so that's $90 worth of scrubs tops, which is great for me. This is an all-leather Nike youth size 11 baseball glove. Looks like it has never been used, and it sold on our new store for $30. This is a vintage style Barbershop jacket, and it looks like it's never been worn. It sold for $25 global shipping program. This is a little hand-carved rosewood box. It's lined with fabric. Not super special, but it is cute, and it sold for $20. So this is one of the Motorola thick leather cases for the radio that I was talking about. And it also sold, so it's all leather. It's very cool, heavy duty for $25. These are a pair of Nutcrackers. This one looks like it's hand carved. This one's just cool. They sold within 5 minutes of me listing them for $25. I have no idea why, but somebody really wanted them. This is a vintage 100% wool Scottish tam o' shanter, although some people would just call it a beret. And it does say 42nd black watch, made in Scotland, 100% all wool. And this sold in our new store for $40. These are a pair of glass beaded earrings made in India, and they are made to imitate coral. I bought these at an estate. They had underpriced them. I thought they might be real coral, but I found out that they are actually glass imitation beads, but people still like them. So these sold just by themselves. I bought a set. It was earrings and a necklace. This sold by itself for 30, and I think I sold the necklace for 80. So that's over $100, and I think I paid 15 for all of it. This is another piece of Quimper pottery. It's got some marks, but that was just marks from when it was fired. It's very pretty. Where is it signed? Oh, it's signed right there. And again, we bought these for less than $1 a piece. There were 27 pieces, and we bought it for $25. The big box for $25. And this piece was up for $1.99. We got a best offer of $1.25, and you know I took it. This is a Kohler Towel Bar that we bought for $10, and it sold on Amazon for $40. I was hoping it would sell for more, but I'm happy we got $40 for it. This is an antique hall tree, which is a little bench. It's a tiger oak, very dark. It's got a mirror. It's quite beautiful. It's got hooks. It's very cool. And Jay thinks we paid $90 for it. I think we paid $180 for it, but we can't figure out who's right. We bought it about 1.5 years ago. I had it up for $1,800 for the longest time, and I lowered the price to $600, and it sold this week. So we are actually loading this up into the truck and delivering it because the person is not very far away. So we were happy to get $600 for it and get it off the porch and to deliver it because they weren't very far away, and we thought we'd hit some yard sales and maybe some estate sales on the way. $600. This is a rolling Craftsman toolbox that we sold. We bought it at an auction for $55, and we sold it to someone for $200, and they are coming to pick it up tomorrow morning. A very basic New York Mets hat, nothing super special, sold for $20. This is a J. Crew fuzzy Angora sweater that I've had for way too long. I don't know why it won't focus. Come on, focus. And I had it up for $39, and I took an offer of $28, which I'm glad to get rid of it. This is a very vintage smoky glass ashtray from the Ponte Verde Club in Florida. And I probably got it for 50 cents, and I sold it for $20. This is the second shirt. The same shirt that sold earlier this week to the same guy. He offered $37 on this one. I had taken an offer of $50 before, and then I countered it for $50, and he accepted. So I sold both of them this week for $100 to the same person. These are a pair of women's leather penny loafers by Footjoy. You can see they are brand new, but they are vintage, and they sold for $60. Global shipping program. Another Quimper piece sold. This is like a little covered dish. You can see on the bottom it is signed, and this piece sold for $100, best offer. I had it up for $125. These are two pairs of antique sheep shears for cutting sheep wool, and like we said in the podcast, they sold to a semi-famous architect designer in New York, who's really into rustic stuff now. So these sold for $40. This is a pair of women's white leather loafer pumps, and the cool thing about these is they have this soft leather sole, which is really nice and looks like it's barely been worn. And these sold for $40. This is a Ralph Lauren. What does it say? It's a Yarmouth. Oxford. Yarmouth. Yarmouth. Oh, very fancy. And it's quite large. And it sold for $25. This is a beautiful box of vintage Elizabeth Arden hand soap. It's called Bluegrass. There are 3 cakes of soap in here, never used. I do believe it's from the 80s, probably 70s or 80s. It still smells great. I can smell it from here. And it sold for $40 on our second store. These are a pair of matching paintings. They are watercolors. They're professionally framed and matted. They have really nice frames, these like gold wooden frames. And now what they are is, this was a point on a beach in Florida, Merritt Island, Florida. And this guy had like made this big concrete lizard. I'm sorry, it's a dragon. He calls it a dragon. It was called Dragon Point. And they took it down a few years ago. And this person had painted a painting of it. And this was also in Merritt Island. It's called Mather's Bridge, which also is not there. So clearly this artist, whose name was Joyce Warner, was painting things that she remembered or had photographs of in Merritt Island, Florida. We got these at an auction, and it's one of those pieces where they're auctioning off choice on artwork, where they're like just $5 for anything. So we picked these 2 as part of our choice. And I had them up for $80, and I took an offer of $50 each. I had them up for $80 each. So someone said, I really want these. Would you take $50 each? So I'm thrilled to get $100 for these. This is a Myrtle Beach Pelicans hat. It's a minor league baseball team, and it sold for $25. Another hat sold today, and this is a NASA hat. I had sold this before and someone returned it, and it was the only return I ever got where someone said they found a better price on it somewhere else, which I thought was an odd thing to do for a return. But this sold again for $30, global shipping program. These are a pair of women's leather Oxford style tap shoes. They're leather and metal on the bottom. Sound pretty cool. We took an offer of $35. I believe I had 50 something, and we took an offer of $35. This is a very heavy, solid marble cheese slicer with a wire. These always sell. We always get them. I had this up for $29. Someone offered $25, and I took it. These are a pair of men's Hush Puppy Oxfords. They are not vintage because they say made in China on the inside, but they are that vintage look. So people still love them. And these sold for $50. This is a vintage Yashica rangefinder camera. It's got this great leather cover and this awesome like snake chain. The thing about these cameras is, if you cannot fully test them with film, people generally will not pay a high price for them. So I did not. I am able to test these by clicking the shutter and then, doing this thing. And that's the best way that I can test them. So I've sold a bunch of these over the years. I have bought several auction lots of just cameras, lenses, camera equipment, and whatever. But once the good stuff is gone, you're left with things like this, where a real nerdy person has to come along and buy this. So I've had this for years, and I took an offer of $15, which is fine. I just want to get rid of it. So it is gone. This is a very cute 1937 Magic Chef cooking recipe book. I guess the Magic Chef was a brand of oven. I love old cookbooks. They're very cool. I love seeing the photos and the different recipes. And the artwork is lovely. This sold for $20. This is a hat that sold yesterday. It's a Mickey Mouse hat. It's wool. And it sold for $25. This is a Ralph Lauren hat, and when it sold, I was a bit surprised at how high I had priced it, but someone paid for it. It was $50. Global shipping program. This is a super big duffel bag, as you can see. It's quite large, and we probably just found it in a pile of bags at a thrift store that nobody cared about, and it sold for $47. This is a vintage Army military trench, still in great shape, and nice liner, and it sold for $40. And last but not least is a hard shell vintage Samsonite briefcase, and we had this up for either 50 or 60, and we've had it for a long time. So we took an offer of 30, which is not bad. And that's it for this week. Bye.